Okay, it's currently 6:32. I want to call to order the Board of Adjustments for Rowlett. Briefly, we have our alternates sitting at the dais as normal. They will participate in conversation but will not be voting. So as authorized by Section 551.071 Texas Government Code, this meeting may be converted to the closed executive session for the purpose of seeking counsel and legal advice from the city attorney at any time during the meeting. The Rowlett Board of Appeals reserves the right to convene into a realign to regular session and call an executive session in order to determine business prior to the adjournment. Okay, and for the people watching online, to participate in the public input section, if you're not available to attend in person, you may complete the citizen input form on the city's website by 3:30 the day of the meeting. All forms will be forwarded to the board prior to the meeting, starting in the meeting. Okay. We do not have any online forms I'm aware of. For in-person, if you want to speak, there's forms at the front door when you came in to give this to Suzanne. So again, calling this meeting to order. Again, we started at 6:32. At this point, if anyone in the audience wishes to speak for citizens input, you have 3 minutes. We'd like to talk about a topic this evening. Have a lady in the back. Oh, excuse me. You just had her hand up there. Young lady there too. Yep. Okay, I see no one wishing to speak citizen input. Moving on to our next item, item 3A, conduct a public hearing to take action on a request on behalf of Keith Lauer, on behalf of the property owner, Daniel and Barbara Howell, I'm sorry, to decrease the side setback from 18.1 to 9.6 feet on the property zone single-family residence SF10 district. The tract is located southeast of the intersection of Scenic Drive and Norwich Court. The address is 4810 Scenic Drive. In the city, this is on behalf of William Crabtree, survey abstract number 60, the city of Rowlett, Dallas, Broward County. And we have a presentation from the city.
Good evening, board members. Not grab the clicker. This is not magic, I forgot that I had to have. But, so tonight we have one item on the agenda. It's dealing with a side yard setback on an existing house. And according to section 77-401 of the Rowlett Development Code, the side yard setback requirements for this particular lot, which is on a SF10 zone property, the side yard setback is the greater of 10% of the lot width or 7.5 feet. This particular property is 181.12 feet. So the required minimum setback for the side yard is 18.11 feet. The property owner intends to remove a portion of the existing home and reconstruct on the existing foundation, which is 9.6 feet away from the north property line, the side property line. Typically on an SF10 lot, those lots are 80 feet wide, which would result in an 8-foot setback. The review of this area indicates that virtually all of the buildings were constructed to an 8-foot setback for the side property line. And the applicant has proposed a side setback of 9.6 feet. This setback is in line with the construction that currently exists on the property, as we stated previously. So we'll go back into the Texas Local Government Code, which gives the Board of Adjustment the authority and power to hear variances from zoning regulations. And that, although we do state the Relative Development Code, Relative Development Code is the city's zoning regulations. So going back in, if you look at the first item is to hear an appeal that alleges an error in the order requirement decision. That does not apply in this case. Item number 2 is to hear and decide special exceptions to the terms of the zoning ordinance. When the ordinance requires the board to do so, that does not apply. The item that does apply is authorized in specific cases. Variance from the terms of a zoning ordinance if the variance is not contrary to the public interest and due to special conditions of literal enforcement of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship and so that the spirit of the ordinance is observed and substantial justice done. So that's the one that staff feels applies in this particular case. So the front and rear setbacks are a set distance and not based on the depth of the lot. Deeper lots typically do not require greater front or rear setbacks on any zoning district. However, in this case, we have a zoning district that says 7.5 feet, 14% of the lot width, whichever is greater. So the concept of a side yard setback based on a lot width can create an overly burdensome requirement, especially in a case where we have an existing home that they're wanting to rebuild at the existing setback of 9.6 feet. So in cases such as this, it makes portions of that lot more unbuildable in area than adjacent lots within that subdivision or within that area. Although SF10 requires a side setback of the greater of 7.5 feet, 10% of the lot width, the requirement to meet the 10% side yard setback will create an excessive side yard setback in the opinion of the staff. The requirement does not allow the applicant to use their lot in the same way that lots within this area are utilized because of that additional setback requirement. So the analysis of this is that a setback of 9.6 feet is greater than the majority of setbacks of other lots in this subdivision. Therefore, the staff's opinion that this variance is not contrary to the public interest. Because of special conditions, the width of the lot, or literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. Additionally, approval of this variance will allow for a large tree to be saved that can be legally removed by the property owner if the variance is denied and the house is relocated further to the south. So the staff's opinion that the variance request does meet with the spirit and intent of the zoning regulations and will allow for substantial justice to be done. So our recommendation on staff's level is to recommend approval of the variance to reduce the side yard setback at 4810 Scenic Drive from 18.1 to 9.6 feet. If you have any questions, you have to try to answer.
Okay, thank you. Questions for me? So I don't see questions at the moment, so I guess this time we need to open the public hearing. At this time, the public hearing has been opened. Anyone in the audience wish to speak during the public hearing? Quiet people today. Seeing no one wishing to speak during the public hearing, we'll close the public hearing. Rennie?
Yeah, I just, when you do this stuff for long enough, you learn that the Relative Development Code is not all encompassing. It doesn't mean every house in Rowlett is going to meet that standard. And I think what was it, 18.1 feet is ridiculous, when 9.6 is much better. And so I agree with the variance.
Anyone else on the board? Alderman, questions, comments?
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
I do have a question. If you want to come and hold it.
I'm Darrell Holman.
Oh, how long have you owned the property?
We bought the property in November of 14, so almost 9.
It was already subdivided when you bought it? So you bought the property as is, you've not changed the property line?
Correct.
That's it.
Any other further questions from the board? Anyone wish to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance request.
Second?
Second?
Okay. We have a motion from Tony, a second from Browning. Browning, just want to hear first. At this time, I'll call the roll, please. A unanimous approval to go with the 9.6 setback. Okay. At this point, I see no other business for the board this evening, so at 6:45, we'll adjourn.